What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video where we will also discuss the aftermath of Liverpool's exit against Real Madrid in the Champions League, and Bajcetic revealed that he got a season-ending injury. So this is a misery compiler, another bad injury news happening at Liverpool. What do you think should happen in the summer transfer window? Mason Mount, Stan Collymore has revealed that he has been told by two very reliable players that a deal for Liverpool to sign Mason Mount is on. So he could be another brilliant midfield signing for Liverpool, alongside hopefully Jude Bellingham, a centre-back and a very good right-back. Jamie Carragher and Rio Ferdinand has absolutely slammed Trent Alexander-Arnold's defending against Real Madrid. But I think Trent, even though he was bad defensively, he didn't get any help because he had Mo Salah in front of him and James Milner in front of him, and both players, didn't really protect Trent. Sometimes Trent and Konate had to play on Vinicius Junior just to double up on him, and of course that left other players to mark one-on-one against Real Madrid attackers, but that's for the second part of this video. So guys, if you enjoy these transfer update videos, leave a like, it really helps me out and supports the channel, and also click the thanks button if you want to further support the channel. Also, I have two FIFA channels running alongside this channel. Link is in the video description to both channels where I upload FIFA 23 and 22 gameplay videos. So Stan Collymore said, I've been told by two very reliable people, one of which being a person who knows Mason Mount personally, so he's in Mason Mount's inner circle, and that his rumored move to Liverpool this summer is very much on. It has already been discussed within both clubs, so within Liverpool and within Chelsea. Stan Collymore revealed that there is still a lot to decide, particularly at Chelsea, because they have to comply with financial fair play rules. So they have to sell quite a few of their important players, or at least players who have some value, just to break even. And Stan Collymore revealed there will be a lot of incomings and even more outgoings at Chelsea in the summer. So a lot will depend on what Chelsea decides to do, but the fact they are already talking about the possibility of letting Mason Mount go says a lot. Mason Mount only has 1 year left on his contract. He showed absolutely no indication whatsoever to sign a contract extension. Chelsea offered Mason Mount 3 times contract extensions. He turned all of them down, and that leaves the door wide open for Liverpool to go in and get him, hopefully at a cut price deal, because of him only having 1 year left on his contract. But remember, we signed, I think, Thiago and Oxlade-Chamberlain for quite substantial money, even though they both had 1 year left on their contract. But with Todd Bowley, the new Chelsea owner, splashing more than £600 million on strengthening Chelsea, Mason Mount is no longer a guaranteed starter, and there is currently no sign of him agreeing a new deal. Mason Mount, even though Chelsea are struggling, he already got 3 goals and 6 assists in 32 games, but a lot of those games came as a substitute. Mason Mount was subbed on from the bench, so you can't really judge Mason Mount on this season and this season alone. And last season he had a lot more goals and a lot more assists. And Mason Mount's ability to perform as part of a midfield three or a front three is something that will no doubt excite Jurgen Klopp, and it will be interesting to see what happens when the summer rolls around. Chelsea will not want to lose Mason Mount for free at the end of next season, so they will be thinking about selling Mason Mount. And Mason Mount, I don't think he would fancy a move abroad. He would want to stay in England, so Chelsea would have no choice but to sell to maybe a direct rival if they want to see any money for him. I mean, look at Man City. They sold Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus to Arsenal. And also Man City sold Raheem Sterling to Chelsea. So there is precedent of clubs selling players to rival clubs in the Premier League. So Mason Mount was born on January the 10th, 1999, and he is 24 years old, 181 centimeters tall. He's mainly playing as an attacking midfielder, but he can play on the left side as a center box-to-box midfielder. His market value right now is 65 million euros, which is around 55 million pounds. So if Liverpool could get him for 45-50 million, I think that would be a really good deal, because as I said, Mason Mount is still only 24 years old. He's about to enter the peak years of his career. So if we sign him on a 5-year or a 6-year contract, that means that initially it will cost maybe 20-25 million, but the rest of the money can be paid in installments, and that way Mason Mount would effectively cost just around 10 million pounds per season, and I think that's very affordable. Also, you should judge Mason Mount on a season where he was a regular starter for Chelsea. Like last season, he played 53 games, which means that he was basically almost never injured. He played almost all of the games. In the Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, League Cup, Club World Cup, Chelsea played an incredible amount of games last season, and Mason Mount got 13 goals and 16 assists last season. So 29 goal contributions is absolutely phenomenal. And that's exactly the kind of goal scoring and assisting midfielder that Liverpool desperately need, in my opinion. And Fabrizio Romano also declared that there is still a big gap in the negotiations between Mason Mount and Chelsea. The new deal, the new contract is far from being agreed. No final decision yet, but the chances of Mason Mount leaving Chelsea are increasing day by day, week by week. Mount will be on the market if a new deal is not agreed before the summer, because Chelsea, after spending more than 600 million, they can't afford to let a big asset like Mason Mount run down his contract and leave on a free transfer. And Darren Bent also said that if you look at the clubs that are interested in Mason Mount, the only one that makes sense for me, and I think they need him, is Liverpool, because they need legs in that midfield. He would add quality to that midfield, and I'm a big fan of Mason Mount. You shouldn't judge Mason Mount on this season, as I previously said. You should judge him on last season. And he's a really hard-working player as well as a goal-scoring midfielder. Liverpool don't have a midfielder since Coutinho left the club who regularly scores around 10 goals per season. And that's, I think, a very low bar. Steven Gerrard in his prime was scoring 20 goals a season. Coutinho was scoring 15 goals a season regularly. Liverpool rely too much on their attackers. And when their attackers are not firing, Liverpool are struggling. Look at our away form this season. We lost so many games away from home where we failed to score, we failed to convert our chances. Imagine if we had a goal-scoring midfielder who could chip in with just a few goals in those away matches. We would be so many points more ahead if we signed a kind of midfielder like that, a Jude Bellingham or Tchouaméni or Mason Mount type of midfielder last summer. And I still don't understand why Liverpool ignored the midfield. For basically 4 years, we have ignored it. Thiago, one midfielder signed in 4 years, is not enough, especially when players like Coutinho, players like Wijnaldum left our midfield, and we haven't really replaced them properly. Jamie Carragher also criticized Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I think rightfully so, that in a season when Liverpool are really dominant and really attacking the other teams, Trent Alexander-Arnold is great. But in a season when Liverpool are defending a lot more and the midfield is not there to protect the back four, Trent Alexander-Arnold's defensive frailties and weaknesses have been exposed, but it doesn't excuse the fact that Trent sometimes is just lazy, he's not working hard enough, he's not working with the intensity that is required defensively to really be a great defender. And it was again evident when Vinicius Junior was running at the rebound or the ricochet after Virgil van Dijk tried to clear from Benzema. Trent just walked back instead of running back, so he wasn't switched on defensively, and that's inexcusable in a Champions League game at the Bernabeu. So the problem that they have got in that position, Carragher said, is they have never really had real competition for Trent Alexander-Arnold since Trent became a regular at Liverpool. One of the reasons why is because Trent has been so good. Nobody wants to come and sit on the bench behind Trent Alexander-Arnold. Who does Liverpool buy? How much do you spend on a player who wouldn't start regularly ahead of Trent Alexander-Arnold? But Jimmy Carragher said, I think Liverpool are at the point now where they have got to go and buy a right back. That's Jurgen Klopp's decision in terms of how good that right back is, how much it costs, but that lad needs serious competition, Trent, because he has been playing now for 5 years at the top level, week in, week out, with almost no rest. He has won everything. He has done absolutely fantastic. He has won more than I could ever dream of, and I'm so proud of him. A local lad coming through the ranks, but he needs help. He needs to have a long think at the end of the season about where he is as a right back. I've always defending him in that he has played for one of the best teams in the world, which means you do a lot more attacking than you do defending. We all know his defending isn't good enough, and I don't think it will ever be good enough. We are talking about a player who has played 260 games. It is not going to massively improve now. When Liverpool drop off and when Liverpool aren't one of the best teams in Europe, like they have been for the last few years, now they are one of the pack going for the Champions League, then you are doing more defending and less attacking. You see the worst traits of Trent and not his strengths going forward, and that's a massive problem. I thought this problem would rear its head when Jurgen Klopp left and maybe Liverpool dropped back to when I was a player, when most seasons we were trying to finish in the top 4. If Liverpool are trying to qualify for the Champions League every season, I'm not sure Trent is your man at right back. If they get back to being one of Europe's best, which is what they will try and do next season, Trent is your man, but right now the lad needs help. And I said it for 2 years in a row, that we need a good backup right back. I was so happy when we signed Calvin Ramsey from Aberdeen, who won the best young player of the Scottish League Award. He was a really promising, really good right back, but basically all season he has been out with injuries. And you have to question the Liverpool medical department. What on earth are they doing behind the scenes that Liverpool gets so many injuries? We got even more injuries than in the season where we had no centre-backs fit and we still finished in the 3rd place somehow miraculously. The season when Alisson even from a corner scored a brilliant header goal that helped Liverpool on their way to finishing in the top 4. This season we have so many injuries and so many top players on bad form or just they are past it at the moment. It's really hard to tell whether players like Fabinho or Trent, whether they are just past it or whether that is just a drop of form. You have to say Henderson is well past it because he's 32, 33 years old, so he's not going to get back to the world-class level. And he is starting to pick up injuries. There are so many issues, so many problems at Liverpool. The midfield is the biggest issue. We have too many old players and too many young players who are not good enough yet, who are not ready yet. I mean, it speaks volumes that Jurgen Klopp brings on Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who is going to leave the club, instead of somebody like Curtis Jones. Also, Jurgen Klopp gives 2 or 3 minutes to Carvalho. Why aren't we trying to develop Carvalho when the Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is leaving the club? Why isn't... maybe Jurgen Klopp doesn't trust Carvalho defensively, but you have nothing to lose. We are already out of the Champions League. Why not give Carvalho 20-30 minutes away at the Bernabeu? That would have been a great experience. Him coming on for 2 minutes, yes, it's a good experience that he played in this game, but he couldn't really offer anything meaningful. I mean, what can you do in like 2 or 3 minutes? Rio Ferdinand also questioned Trent's defending on the Real Madrid goal, and that was just one of the many issues for Liverpool. But my biggest complaint was Liverpool didn't show any guts, any desire, any fight in the second half. We just went limp, went soft. And we just didn't really have any fire in our belly. Liverpool didn't really have any spark in the second half especially. And away at the Bernabeu in a Champions League game where you don't know when the next Champions League game will come for Liverpool. And you can't even motivate yourself to have a spark against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. There is something seriously wrong mentally with these Liverpool players, and I don't know what it will take for them to turn it around. And Rio Ferdinand said, we are talking about in recent seasons, in the last couple of windows, they haven't brought in anyone, Liverpool, who can come in and change the first 11. They are players that need time to build themselves into the first team and become regulars at some point. Neither three are regulars in the first team yet. He's talking about Gakpo Nunez and Luis Diaz. What a load of rubbish. I mean, Luis Diaz is already a first choice on the left wing, and in his absence, Darwin Nunez is first choice. I think Jota can be first choice up front. At the moment, it's Jota or Gakpo who will play as a striker. So that's 2 players out of 3 attacking positions that Liverpool bought recently new players for. So that's a load of rubbish. What I would get behind is if Rio Ferdinand said Liverpool didn't buy midfielders who will start for Liverpool. And I mean, it speaks volumes that an 18-year-old Bajcetic has become a regular during the season. That's how weak our midfield department has been. And that's how shambolic Liverpool's transfer policy have been during the past 2 or 3 years of not buying a quality midfielder who has the energy to run for days and also who has the skill set to really improve Liverpool's starting 11. Look at Real Madrid. They had a similar problem, an aging midfield with Modric, Kroos and Casemiro. They sold Casemiro for big money. He's 30 years old, Casemiro, and they sold him for big money for Man United. They kept Modric, they kept Kroos, but they brought in Camavinga, they brought in Tchouaméni, and they also have Valverde, who they developed and grew, and they are replenishing and refreshing their midfield. And yes, it costs a lot of money, and Real Madrid spent a lot of money on their midfield. Why didn't Liverpool spend a lot of money? Probably because we spent that money on our attackers, but it has spectacularly backfired. Liverpool did great deals with signing Darwin Nunez, with signing Gakpo. But if you have money for those players, why don't you have money for a midfielder? And you could argue it was more important to buy a midfielder than buying Cody Gakpo, even though I love Gakpo. I think he will be a great talent for Liverpool and we will develop him into a world-class player. He showed in flashes that he can become a world-class player. But why didn't you sign a midfielder? You can sign attackers all you want, Liverpool, but you have to sign a midfielder. You absolutely had to. Also, Bajcetic made an update saying that he has picked up an injury that will keep him out until the end of the season. He said, it's very sad to say goodbye to this amazing season for me, but I understand this is part of football and it will only make me stronger physically and mentally. I would also like to thank you for the support for the Liverpool fans through the season. I assure you I will do my best to be back stronger than ever. Who will play in midfield for Liverpool? We have Thiago out injured, Bajcetic out injured, Henderson out injured, Naby Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain leaving. So that is 5 midfielders out. Yes, we have Carvalho, Jurgen Klopp doesn't trust him. We have Curtis Jones, Jurgen Klopp doesn't trust him. We have 37-year-old James Milner and Fabinho. Thank goodness at least we don't have a game for like 1.5 weeks. So at least the injuries can heal and Luis Diaz hopefully can get closer to fitness and we can work on the fitness of Diogo Jota as well as Henderson. Because if we had the Man City game on the weekend, I would have absolutely no hope of Liverpool getting anything. Even with our best 11, it's a tall order to get something from Man City at the Etihad, especially after they smashed Leipzig 7-0. Another baffling substitution by Jurgen Klopp, taking Darwin Nunez off after 57 minutes. And Jurgen Klopp said Darwin looked like he was not on the absolute top level and then we need to defend that side as well because conceding a goal is not helpful in the situation. So we can change there, that's why we did it. We wanted to mix it a little bit. I think Jurgen Klopp, I will be honest, he has given up on that tie when he substituted Darwin Nunez. I think after 57 minutes, Jurgen Klopp has said, you know what, the tie is over, there is no way we will score 3 goals. And I don't get behind that. I think there was still a chance. Darwin Nunez was our most dangerous player. Guess what, in just 57 minutes, he had 3 shots, the most shots by any Liverpool player. Mo Salah didn't even have a shot and he played the full 90 minutes. And also, Real Madrid offered no threat on their right-hand side, on Darwin Nunez's left-hand side. And I don't understand why he thought defensively we need to be better on that side, because all Real Madrid's attacks came on the left when Trent Alexander-Arnold was struggling to defend Vinicius Junior. So I just don't understand. Jurgen Klopp made so many weird, baffling substitutions that it's really hard to understand his way of thinking. Right back, Dani Carvajal offered very little going forward and he spent the majority of the first half defending his own box, worrying about Darwin Núñez's pace and also his strength. So why not keep Darwin Núñez on? Why not bring on Firmino for Jota and just try and create more chances and try to score more goals? Liverpool didn't have a shot until like the 80th minute when we were already 6-2 down on aggregate, that the game was already over. And that was in part down to Darwin Núñez being taken off. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what is yours in the comments below. And thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.